Streetbeefs family, what it is, what it will be. Face with you on a very special edition of Scarface's Street News. Almost didn't do this stream tonight, y'all. I almost didn't make it. Not because I didn't want to do it. Because I was asleep. Haven't been feeling great. But I'm going to let a few people get on here. And then I'm going to talk. I got a lot to say. Big Cake, what it is, bro. Appreciate you tuning in. First, man, you always supporting too. I appreciate it, brother. Real talk. Definitely want to get it in and have a discussion tonight. Let's see how many tune in real quick. What time is it? Yeah, we right on time too. Carissa, what up? Carissa, you may want to hang around for this one. Just in case I need any moderating. Bro Demon, Tank, what it is, what it will be. I want to wait till we get just a few more on. Your boy Chancey said, Face, why haven't we seen Sensation versus Manu happen yet? Hey, thank you, Tank. Shout out to the West Coast. Chancey, so this is a great way to start this day off and this stream off. Because today the first 20 minutes, I'm not going to really be showing videos, per se. I'm going to be talking Street Beefs, okay? Street Beefs policy, Street Beefs ranking, Street Beefs philosophy, right? 420 Stone Samurai. What up, brother? Are you one of the fighters? I'm just trying to know who everybody is by their name. So, back to Chancey. This is a great way to start it off. Chancey said, why have we not seen Sensation versus Manu happen yet? A lot of fights, well, all the fights, we as an org will try to make happen. But understand something, we can't make anything happen. The reason is, the fighters don't owe us shit. We don't pay the fighters. It's not a sanctioned org. So at best, we can go to the fighters and say, hey, we want to see this matchup happen. When are you available? And for the most part, the fighters, especially the bigger names, they're gonna say, yeah, what's up? I'm down. You know, but it's not always guaranteed to happen. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. So, in that case of Manu and Sensation, I believe both men want to fight. I really do. I think it's just a matter of making it happen. Chris Maluko, thanks for following. Maluko never uses a fake name, man. What's up, Maluko? Lobster, what up, boy? So, you know, we have had cases over the years where I've tried to make a fight happen and one side seemed more enthusiastic than the other. But that has not been the case with Sensation and Manu. It just, both of those guys, dude, I tell you, they love to fight, they want to fight, and they do what they do, you know. So I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen soon. I think it needs to happen because for me right now, they're the two hottest fighters in the org. Those two. Two hottest fighters in the org. Okay. I'm doing this tonight, this first 20 minutes. I want to answer questions about the rankings. Louis the Real Dinehart, what up, bro? What's good? Your boy Chancey said, any chance you can re-upload Turk's fight vids, Turk versus Stone? Nah, brother. We won't be uploading any of Turk's right now. not going to speak too much on it, but, you know, Turk is incarcerated for severely beating a woman. And, you know, until we get clarity on that, I just don't feel comfortable having his fights on the channel. I think any org would feel the same way. You know, we don't stand, not to the level that it happened. I mean, he's in jail for serious charges because of it. Supposedly there was abduction involved with it, so it was bad, really bad. It wasn't just a typical domestic fight. It was supposedly very bad. So I want to wait till we get some clarity on that. At any rate, I do want to answer. Here's y'all's chance. Okay, we released the MMA and boxing lists yesterday. I want to give anybody who has a chance about people's reactions, people's rankings, excuse me, to give your question now. Go ahead and question anybody's ranking you want to question. I'm going to answer it. But I'm going to start, before I get into answering these questions, with a diatribe here. I started these rankings the same way I started the belts, with hesitancy. And I can tell you that there's days that I regret giving Streetbeefs belts. I regret it. Because the spirit of Streetbeefs ain't got a motherfucking thing to do with belts, title shots, or rankings. Okay? That's not why we started. And that's not what gets me out of bed every month to run these events. Okay? I get out of bed every month to run these events for two reasons. One, to stop gun and knife violence. Violence, period. Two, to give a brotherhood and sisterhood to men and women all over the world who want to be a part of something. That's it. Everything else is a distant third. Okay? And the problem that I've ran into with the belts is people lose sight of it. People start to think they're fighting for a fucking UFC belt. And now with the rankings, I released the rankings yesterday. And I've already had several people inbox me telling this guy's boo-hooing about the ranking system. That guy's boo-hooing about the ranking system. And I feel like I got to remind people, this is a backyard fight club. You're not getting paid no motherfucking money for this. Nobody's going to look and say, he was ranked number 1 at Streetbeefs. Let's give him $1 million contract. Not going to happen. I created this. You think my ego wouldn't like to say, hey, your Streetbeefs ranking is going to get you a big shot? It's not. It's not, guys. It's all for fun. It's fun and accolades here in the yard. So if you're getting butthurt about a belt or a ranking system, you have lost the spirit of what Streetbeefs is. Okay? Louis, the real Deinhardt, said, I thought you were super on point with your rankings. Anybody, oh shit, my bad. Anybody that wants to cry needs to get a tissue. No, you're right, bro. Real talk, and thank you. Sock Sam said, high face, I hope Jake Paul makes a difference in pay. No, I agree. Especially at the UFC. Those guys are fiercely underpaid. Louis also said, I love the belts. It makes it competitive. The stopping of the violence is the number one awesome thing. Absolutely, however, I feel like it separates the men from the boys. And I can respect that. And guys, real quick, I was at the Ravens game Sunday, and I screamed my head off, so my voice is even more fucked than usual. Let's see. T-Bear Family said, people do say that, though. They used AB's background in Street Beefs to build his pro debut. No, I agree. And I'm happy that Bad News, and there's a couple others, where they have used their Street Beefs background to build their following in the pros, right? But I just think when it gets to a higher level, nobody is going to say, man, like when they walk out in the UFC or for a Mayweather fight, nobody's going to say, that guy was 15-0 in Street Beefs. And again, I created this. I love it. I want you guys to value your spot here. But I don't want you to let it sour your sportsmanship or your sense of brotherhood. And that's the problem. Okay? Chris Maluco said, so looking at far Street Beefs as Kane, what direction do you think Street Beefs needs to go to stay genuine? Maluco, that's a great question, and it's the $1 million question. Because on one hand, I want to humor the more serious fighters. The more serious fighters, they want belts. They want ranking systems, right? But the majority of the fighters aren't more serious fighters. A lot of the fighters come and fight once or twice, and they're gone. They just wanted the experience. Excuse me. So when I put in those belts and ranking systems to humor the few, sometimes it clouds the water on the many. And it's tough because that few, they're the ones that are here every week, ready to fight. And they're taking it serious. But sometimes they take it too serious. And that's what bothers me. Okay? Soxam said Dana White got caught hitting his wife, got what he deserves. Listen, I'm going to say this, and I don't want to get too deep off subject. It goes like this, guys. A simple domestic fight, I'm not going to speak on it because I wasn't there. Okay? Couples, you'd be shocked. The couples that fight behind closed doors. You'd be shocked. But what I was talking about earlier with the ex-fighter wasn't a simple domestic fight. He was charged with abduction, serious assault. The rumor is he hurt that girl very badly. So I just can't, in good conscience, leave his fights up till that's clarified. Big Cake said it should be done by a unanimous group of people close to Street Beefs, including yourself. And that's what we're doing. That's how we did the votes. Okay? Sock Sam said self-defense, women slap ain't shit, laughing out loud. Bro Demon said it looked like self-defense. Let's see. Louis said, I think with everything you have done, Street Beefs has definitely made its point on what exactly it is about. Anything anybody else wants to think or say is a bunch of hogwash. That's how I feel, bro, and I'm being very dismissive of it because some of these guys, look, I'm not going to call out no names, but there's a couple of our fighters that are habitual offenders with complaining. There's a couple of them that just complain about everything, and I'm just tired of hearing from them. I'm just going to be real. There's a couple, and again, they're right now off the top of my head, 4 fighters who I'm not going to put them on blast, but they became crybabies. They just whine about everything. We could give them a belt, and they'll whine that they didn't get it quick enough. We give them a ranking, they whine that it's not high enough. We give them a title shot. They whine that it's not quick enough. We give them another title shot. They whine that we didn't give them a third one. It's crazy. And that's what I'm talking about. It takes away from what Street Beefs is. That is not what this is about. Street Beefs is supposed to be a place where people come to a reporter for the Washington Post came and did a story on us. And he gave the best description of Street Beefs I've ever heard. He said, Face, this is like Woodstock for fighters. And that was the most accurate description I've ever heard in my life. Real talk. The most accurate description I've ever heard in my life. That's what I want. I want Street Beefs to be like Woodstock for fighters. And what I mean by that is this. When you seen the original Woodstock, what did you see? You seen a bunch of people that didn't really know each other, dancing, singing, having a great time. All getting together to enjoy their common love of music and drugs. Okay? With Street Beefs, I want everybody to get together and enjoy their common love of fighting and brotherhood. And when you come to the yard, the atmosphere is just beautiful. Okay? But then we get online and it gets stupid. Louis said it absolutely blows my... Oh, wait a minute. King, your boy Chancey said, I think Beach should be higher on the list. Beach beats hard as stone. I want to talk about that. Okay, I'm going to get to the list. Louis said, it absolutely blows my mind on all the crying. Put up or shut up, like you've been saying for years. Big Cake said, you got to be active on the list. That's facts. Your boy Chancey, same thing with Fair Play. He hasn't been active, and he's number one. Little Craw should be number one on boxing. No. Little Craw, for one, the list requires you fought in the last 6 months. Craw hasn't fought in the last 6 months. So, that's one. Two, Craw only has 3 fights. Mac has 25. 25. So I'm not going to take... And 3, his fights over Mac were not wins. He wasn't given the win. They were draws. And I think the second one, Mac might have beat him. So it's your opinion that he beat Mac, but it wasn't our judge's opinion. So, let's see. Chris Maluku said, the Crybabies' big mouths are trying to replicate the Chael Sonnen and Conor McGregor, Colby Covington playbook. Yeah, and it's sad, bro, because here in Street Beefs, that's not going to get them nowhere. That just ruffles my feathers. That's all it did. Big Cake said Fair Play is about to fight again. He was dealing with some personal drama. Aussie, I'm doing great, bro. Let's get to some lists, okay? Simply Complex 90 says, if we want to challenge someone's spot, what do we do? You message me in Sunshine. You do not go public. Street Beefs isn't a public call-out spot. You message me in Sunshine, and the most you can do is post publicly, hey, Face and Sunshine, I messaged you about wanting to challenge a spot on the list. Okay? To let it be known that you're issuing a challenge. Now, let's get into this list. Bo David said, Little Mac, my favorite boxer, too. Is in the yard, reminds me, we both from PA. Lack of Effort TV said, where can we find the list at? It is on our website, Street Beefs HQ. Your boy Chancey said Italian Tyson should be number 2. He beat Iraqi. Okay. So, Italian Tyson's only had 3 MMA fights. 3. He lost one of them. So he's 2-1 in MMA. And you think he should be above a guy who has 30 MMA wins in the yard. And oh, by the way, he didn't beat Iraqi. He did not. That fight was given to... The judges actually scored it for Iraqi. That fight was a draw, though. So, no. And this is what I'm talking about. These opinions, I'm glad to be doing this stream because I want to address them outright. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. But I can tell you, no, Tyson did not beat Iraqi. Technically, the fight was called a draw, and I can tell you, our judges and the crowd gave it to Iraqi. We called it a draw because some of the crowd said Tyson. That's why we called it a draw. Okay? So let's get to the list. First, here's what I want to do. I'm going to try to figure out a way to go through this list and do it quick while still following the chat. Let's do the boxing first. Okay? Yeah, Low Ohm said a rematch needs to happen when IA is available. So let me just say, for the record, Iraqi was there for the rematch. Tyson had a personal issue and had to pull out. Just for the record, okay? And Tyson's a dog. He's always going to fight, not taking nothing from him. But Iraqi was there for that rematch, okay? Just for the record, all right? Streetbeefs boxing rankings. I have Venom Black number 1. Anybody that questions that hasn't been paying attention. Venom Black fought a buzzsaw of opponents in his weight class. He had multiple title defenses. He held 2 belts when he left. Showtime was the most dangerous fighter, maybe in boxing or MMA, leading up to that fight. And Venom Black, I felt, dominated that fight. It was a good fight, but if you had seen Showtime's face after the fight, it was, to me, pretty clear that Venom won it. So Venom went out undefeated with 2 belts. I put him number 1 in boxing. Okay. Your boy Chancey says your boy and Esteban shouldn't even be on the list. He fights Tomato Can. Chancey, so here's where we're going to stop your input. Who do you fight? Honest question. Legit question. What's your record? I just want to know. Because I want to know who I'm talking to. Okay? I want to know. I've humored your negativity on my stream. I've laughed at it. I've tried to be cool with it. But now you're saying stupid shit. Okay? I'll put Lord Esteban against anybody in his weight class. Anybody. And that's a fact. Oh, my mama. I'll put him. I train with the guy regularly. See, yeah. Hey, Sunshine. Chancey, here's your last comment ever. What's your record in the yard? Because he just said he would beat Esteban easy. Sunshine, show him the door. He's done. He's shitted on enough of my streams. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. He said enough stupid shit. I've had it. Anyways, so here we go. Let's keep it going. I've got Showtime number 2. The reason I have Showtime number 2 is for what I just said about Venom Black. Going into his fight with Venom Black, Showtime was the most dangerous fighter in the yard. Nobody was fucking with him. He was fighting guys 60, 70 pounds heavier than him. Okay? Beast is number 3. Why do I have Beast number 3? I have Beast number 3 because Beast has never even struggled in a fight. He's never even struggled. Okay? And if you looked at our reasoning and our criteria for the rankings, one of them was dominance of your performance. Beast never struggles. Okay? Gary Lynch, what up, bro? Appreciate you. Soxham said, can you explain how the other Street Beefs operate? I will get to that after I finish this, bro, for sure. Saiyan Scalar said, can't wait to join the Street Beefs family and take over the MMA list. Hey, Nate, if you're still watching, go on our community page and post that I'm live breaking down the rankings. Now listen. Money Meal holds 2 boxing belts and he has 24 wins in the yard to 1 loss. Do I need to explain any more why he's number 4? If anything, I need to explain why he's not higher. I've got bad news number 5. I had many people ask why bad news was not higher. Let's get on it. Let's answer why bad news is not higher. For one, bad news is a savage. He's dominant. Bad news, I believe, has had 2 fights in the last year. So that bumped him down a little bit. Okay? Secondly, bad news has had, a couple fights that were tough. A couple fights that were really tough for him. The BRBB fight was very tough for him. Bad news scored a knockout at the very, very end of the fight. But up to that point, some people feel BRBB was winning that fight. Okay? So, bad news is dominant and definitely deserves a top 5 ranking. But some of the other guys on this list have never struggled. Okay? And the guy that's got a loss, Money Meal, has 24 wins. So he has a good bit more wins than Bad News does. Okay? Sam Scaler said, can you mention their weight class? Yes, I will. My apologies. Let's do this real quick. Venom Black and Showtime are light heavyweight. Beast is heavyweight. Money Meal is lightweight. Bad News is middleweight. Little Mac, who is next, is lightweight. Little Mac is also like 24-2. So that should be self-explanatory. He fought Little Craw twice to draws. He's fought Meal several times. He's number 5 on the list, number 6 on the list for that reason. King Madness. King Madness is number 7 on the list because he's undefeated. I believe he's 15-0. Okay? 15-0 undefeated record. The only reason Madness isn't higher is I think some of these other guys' strength of opposition was a little stronger than Madness's. And Madness is my brother. So it just is what it is, But Madness is our number 7 spot. Now, Sunshine said, Face, I've heard a lot of BS about Fair Place being number 1. They said he isn't active. I'm getting to the MMA list next. We're going to talk about that. Okay? We're going to talk about that for sure. I've got Lord Bestaban next. And a lot of people are going to ask, how is Lord Bestaban over Gorilla, over Emmanuel, over Man in the Mirror, over Fair Play? I'm going to tell you how. And this is where our judge's discretion comes into play. I personally trained with Lord Bestaban. I personally cornered him for all of his fights. Several of the judges that judge for the criteria also have trained with him or cornered him for fights. We've seen him fight. We know his skill level. We know what he could do if he boxed some of the other top guys. It would be a very good fight if he didn't win. That's why he's got his spot. Some people will say his record's too small. Okay, cool. You go with that. I stand by his ranking on the list. I would put him against any guy in his weight class and he would more than hold his own. I bet on that. Now, let's see. Bro Demon said Mac versus Money Meal, some of the best matches on the channel. I agree. King Madness said Lord Bestaban would beat Jake Paul. I won't go that far. I'll just say I'm very, very confident in his ability. I train with him 3 times a week. I've hard sparred him to where we tried to kill each other. The guy's a dog, okay? He can fight very well. Anybody that don't see it, challenge him. That's all I can tell you. Gorilla is next. I'm not even going to explain this one. Gorilla's got like 20 wins in the yard. Gorilla's one of the few that I actually think I may have messed up and should have ranked him higher. The reason I didn't, he has not been very active the last year. He's been very inactive the last year. And that's why Gorilla is so low. If Gorilla had a couple more fights in the last year, he would be higher. Emmanuel, little short Hispanic dude, don't speak a lick of English, can fight his ass off. Before it's all said and done, he's going to be in our top 5. Count on that. He just beat Mac for his belt. Okay? But the only reason he's not as high is because he don't have anywhere near the wins that Mac has. I'm sorry. Even if you have a belt, if you got 10 wins and somebody else has 25, I'm putting the guy with 25 wins above you. It's just the way it is. Okay? Call me wrong. Alright? Now, man in the mirror. Man in the mirror, I believe, what's your record, son?
8-0.
Man in the mirror is 8-0. Okay? He's right after Emmanuel. 8-0, he's my son, so he was lucky I put him on the list. Because I didn't want nobody saying I was showing favoritism by putting him on the list. But I can tell you, he earned his spot. He's a dog. He's only 17. He's only 17, y'all. Okay? So I believe he definitely deserves his spot. This is boxing. J-Ben 508. We're getting to MMA next. Fair Play. Fair Play is the only person to make the MMA and boxing list. Fair Play is shit, and I ain't got the numbered list here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12. Fair Play is number 12 on boxing. Okay? He's only number 12 because he's more of an MMA guy. But he's number 12 because in his boxing fights, he showed that he can box with anybody in the yard. Anybody. He can go whip people in MMA, and he can come over and box with you and whip you there. If he had more boxing matches, he would be higher. But he is on both lists. Okay? BRBG. This is a guy, if you look at his record, you're going to say, well, wait a minute, Face, his record's okay, but he's got some losses, blah, 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 and he does. But you got to look at who he's fought and how he's fought them. You got to look, this guy fought Jive Joker. Gave him a hell of a fight. He fought Bad News. I think everybody agrees he was beating Bad News up till 30 seconds when Bad News knocked him out. He fought Meal. He's fought just a list of savages. And he's given all of them a savage fight. So he deserves his spot. And if he rattles off a couple wins, he's going to shoot up the list. Okay? Coffee Cake said, who was the bald dude that was in the Navy? That is Dirty Devil. Dirty Devil has not fought in the OG yard in a while now. Next I have Hitman Hamilton. Hitman Hamilton's up and coming. He's, I want to say 4-0 right now. He has looked devastated. His right hand, Hitman Hamilton, doesn't have a lot of technique. I'm going to be the first to say that. What he does have is a nuclear bomb for a right hand. And he's got a chin. I've seen him get banged on the chin up close and personal, he eats them. He don't fall. And he's 4-0. He's on a tear. He's going to be another up and coming. If that guy gets in the gym regularly, y'all better watch out. Then I got Baby J. Baby J is another one that could have maybe been higher. Madness, if you're in my comments, can you confirm Baby J's record so I don't get it wrong? If Baby J had just a little bit stronger strength of opponents, now he did fight Lord Bestaban, and win all 3 rounds. But I'm trying to remember if any of the other names really stand out. And again, this list is going to be updated again next week. But Baby J is definitely one of our top boxers in the yard. And yes, he's 4-1. Madness just updated me. No doubt, Hamilton. Hey, brother, keep grinding. You get in the gym, motherfuckers in trouble. Let's get to my last 2, then I'm going to sort through the MMA list. The last 2, I feel guilty for because, guys and gals, there was a period where I was only seeing half of the events, and then a small period where I didn't see any of the events. I had some personal issues going on. So I lost track of a couple fighters. The Intimidator and Division. Okay? Madness lobbied hard for both of them. I do know I've got to see both of them fight at least once, and they both are impressive and have therefore earned their spot on these lists. So I want to say shout out to them. Amy, everybody said happy birthday.
Thank you.
She said thank y'all. So now, guys, that's our boxing list. It took me 37 freaking minutes. I'm going to get through the MMA list now. Okay? And let's talk about it. No, somebody said PA Hitman wasn't military. I think that was Sunshine. Yeah, I think they were talking about Dirty Devil, Sunshine. I could be wrong, unless they got them confused. Sand Scaler said, when you're done with the boxing list, could you do me a favor and tell me what weight class is 150, 170 for MMA? What do you mean, what weight class is 150, 170? I think that's our, I want to say that's our lightweight. That's our lightweight. I will check with that. We just basically now go with the weight. We really don't even label it. We just say this is our 150, 160 weight class. And there's not a 150, 170. There's 150 to 160 and 160 to 170. Okay? Let's get the MMA ranking right now. Let's talk about it. I find it amusing that anybody is questioning Fairplace's spot at number 1. That's hilarious to me. People want to talk about he hasn't been active. I don't care. He fit our criteria. You had to have had one fight in the last 6 months. He has. He fits our criteria. Okay? Fair play. I will promise you this. If I go pull the internet right now, who our best fighter is, his name's going to come up repeatedly. Why? He makes it look easy. He makes it look easy, y'all. Fair play has been dominant. I want you to name me a fair play fight that you were watching where you're like, yo, he might lose this shit. I haven't seen it. Especially not in MMA. And that's what I'm talking about. Tell me an MMA fight that you watched and you were like, yo, fair play is in trouble. I haven't seen it. He is dominating. He's beat everybody. He has a ridiculous style that he can beat you striking. He can take you down on the ground and beat you up. He can beat you anywhere. But I say to you MMA guys, if you really feel Fair Play don't deserve a spot, challenge him. Send me and Sunshine your message and challenge him. That's all I can tell you. Shit. And somebody just brought up the number 2. And yes, Fair Play fought our number 2 guy on the list, Iraqi Assassin. Bare knuckle, and was pretty dominant in that fight. I love Iraqi Assassin. Fair Play dominated that bare knuckle fight. Okay? Let's get to number 2. I hope. Listen, I'm praying. I'm praying that there's people that are questioning Iraqi's spot on this list. Let me give y'all a little bit of statistics. He's won 30 MMA fights in the yard. 30. He has won 30 MMA fights in the yard. Is there any other fighter that y'all can name that's won 30 MMA fights? No. Just stop. He has 2 belts. Let me tell y'all a little secret. There was a time when Iraqi Assassin kept Streetbeefs alive. When literally I threw him, and this is the thing, some of you MMA dudes that's complaining about these rankings, let me promise you something. If I came to you and said, I got this dude over here right now that's 195. I know you only weigh 135, but I'm going to put you against this guy that weighs 195. You got me? Nah, face, he's way out of my weight class. Iraqi, he did that shit. He did that shit. I would throw Iraqi in with anybody. Listen, there was a time when Iraqi came to the yard, he had on dress clothes, and we had agreed that he wasn't going to fight that day. Then a bunch of people no-showed, and this dude who outweighed him by 35 pounds showed up like, yo, this is bullshit. I showed up to fight. What is going on? Iraqi said, bro, I don't have no gear to fight in. I gave him a pair of my shorts and duct taped them on him. And he got in there and beat a dude 30 pounds heavier. Be happy he's not number 1. Okay? Sensation said, I think I'm on the cusp of pound for pound number 1, not arguing, just giving some things to consider. If it got looked over, my win streak is longer than Mano's entire career. He had close fights. He ends fights and decisions often. All my MMA wins are finishes, and I have finishes in 5 weight classes this year alone. I think I beat Manu for 3 division champ would put me at number 1. So Sensation, that's a very, very good argument. Extremely good. The reason why I'm going to put Manu over you, the reason we did put Manu over you, is because of who he's beat. Look at some of the names he's beat. Beach, Menace Mike. Some of these guys he's beat are big names. There's another one, I don't know why it's escaping me. But if you go look, just Beach and Menace Mike are killers. Killers. And in both of those fights, he made it look relatively easy. Now, with Beach, it was a good fight, but he got the finish. It wasn't a decision, you know. So, I think for you, Sensation, fastest way to avenge that is to make this fight happen. Y'all make it happen, and that's how you go up the rankings. But you do have a good argument. I will concede that. Let's see. Streetbeefs King Madness and Iraqi is a fucking legend. Let me get up here. And I do want to give much love and respect to Sensation. Let's be clear. Much love and respect. Now, our number 4 is PA Hitman. And I think there were some people that had a big point of contention with PA Hitman. Let's talk about it. I'm going to tell you, PA Hitman, I want to say is only 7-1 or 8-1. And he's ranked above people who have more wins than him or undefeated. Right? Fair enough. PA Hitman had a professional fight career before he hit Streetbeefs. He had over 40 wins as a professional fighter. Okay? In the yard, what PA Hitman has shown me, I believe I can throw him at damn near anybody within a reasonable weight class and he'll beat him. I'm going off of dominance of performances and projected ability. And I believe PA Hitman, anybody close to his weight class, I think he beats him. I'm just going to be real. I think he beats him. If you don't believe so, and you're in his weight class, call him out. Beast. Beast should be a no-brainer. Be happy I didn't put Beast higher. Beast is another guy who has never looked like he was in danger in any of his fights. There's never been a time where Beast looked like he had a tough fight. Okay? Madness. Can you give me Beast, Cheese, and Unknown's records, please? Beast, Cheese, and Unknowns. Coffee Cake, train Allah, that's right. That's right, brother. 100. Not gonna lie, PA Hitman got robbed against Jenga. No comment. I have no comment. I'm gonna get to the rest of the list once Madness gets me these records. I'm hoping he's still on here. J-Ben 508 said whatever happened to Beach, big bro. He's been fighting amateur boxing, bro. He's just been kind of on another kick, you know, and focused on that. Coffee Cake said Mighty Mouse Demetrius Johnson loves Streetbeefs. I love Mighty Mouse Demetrius Johnson. That dude's a savage. Now, back to Beast. If anybody out there can get me Beast, Cheese, and Unknown's records, I need those. Okay? With Beast, he has made it look easy. Okay? He's made it look easy right now. And this is another question we ask with the rankings. Is there anybody in his weight class that I think is a real threat to him? No. No disrespect. No disrespect to anybody out there. I just right now, and Louie, yes, if Nasty Native was an OG yard fighter, I would say he's a real threat to Beast. Unfortunately, he's not. As far as the OG yard, to me, nobody's a real threat to Beast. Sock Sam, Memnon fell outside our year requirement. Okay, let's get to the next one. Cheese. Cheese is another guy who's looked dominant. He has, to me, solidified himself in that top echelon of fighters. He would be higher, except several of the guys above him have multiple belts or a stronger strength of schedule. One of the two. Okay? The only one that doesn't have either of those would be PA Hitman. And I spoke to PA Hitman's pro record and projected ability. And that's why he is where he's at. Okay? I don't think anybody's going to get me these records right now. Let's go to Unknown. Unknown, I believe, is like 15-1. Some would argue that Unknown could be higher. should be higher. The only reason I'm not saying he's higher is because he does not possess a belt, and I don't want to make a mistake here, but I don't think he has possessed a belt yet. If he has, it was briefly. His strength of schedule, I don't remember the bigger name guys he's fought. Okay? But unknown definitely is a top 8 fighter. Song Sam said Baby Hulk. Baby Hulk is outside our 6-month window. If you're not seeing an obvious person on here, the requirement is you had to have fought within the last 6 months. Okay. Now, we're going to get into contentious rankings, guys and gals. Because these next guys, with the exception of 1, 2, 3, are newer fighters who, may not have quite the resume as some of the older fighters. Florida Boy. I got Florida Boy right after Unknown. Unknown's 15-1. Here's Florida Boy, he's only 4-0. But Florida Boy has looked dominant. He's had four wins, 4 stoppages, 3 in the first round. He's buzzsawing people. He's not gutting out wins here, y'all. He is buzzsawing people. I think Florida Boy is going to end up being a force in the yard. Okay? Sand Scaler said, just wait for me to hit the yard in SA, Texas this year. Y'all going to see me shoot into the list. Hey, brother, we can't wait. Looking forward to it. Next is Steve. Y'all may know Steve just beat Quack Attack a while back for Quack's belt. Steve's a savage. He's a fucking savage. At heavyweight, he would be the one. I misspoke earlier. I would like to see Steve fight Beast. I would like to see that fight. Sunshine, if you're watching, let's try to put some work together to make that fight happen. Because when I said that Beast had no viable threats to him, I misspoke. Steve's a damn tough fighter, and he's got some talent. I'd like to see that one. Shout out to Steve. Shout out to Beast. Next, we got Heart of Stone. Now, Heart of Stone's one that people could argue about. Because Heart of Stone has a pretty big record. He's got like 20 MMA wins or some crazy shit. Problem is, he's had a few notable losses in title fights. Okay? And his big name fights, he doesn't have very many signature big name wins. Okay? That's why he's lower on the list. But he's still in our top fighters. Okay? You cannot discredit Heart of Stone after all he's done in the yard. Okay? Division. Division is next on the list because he's a savage. He's racking up wins. A lot of these guys I'm getting ready to get to are not more well known yet, but they're going to be. Keep that name in your head. Division's going to be special. As is the next guy, who's already made a crazy name for himself. Lamb. The Lamb right now is probably the most viral Streetbeefs fighter there is. He's had 3 fights on SportsCenter. And he's only fought 4 times. Alright? The Lamb, he loves to rescue victory from the jaws of defeat. Every fight I'll be watching, I'm like, yep, this is it. They got him this time. He's going down. Then he does some crazy shit and pulls out a win. he may be right now, the most must-see fighter in Street Beefs. Shout out to the Lamb. Now, when I say that, right below him is El Mapache. El Mapache just fought the Lamb. And he was in control of the fight in the end, but the fight had to be stopped due to a cut on his forehead where he was bleeding. I'm sure that he didn't want to be given a win that way, nor did Lamb. So they were both given a win, and they'll rematch. El Mapache is exciting. Must-see TV, just like the Lamb. Great personality, great style. He's going to be a household name. Matt Harrer. Brother, I wish you would pick a nickname. You deserve it. You deserve a cool nickname. I don't know what to name you, but Matt Harrer is a firecracker. He's definitely deserving to be on this list and above some guys that got a lot of wins because he's undefeated and he's won in devastating fashion. Ryu Senin. Ryu Senin was a title holder. He's lower on the list only because I want to say he only had one fight in the last year. And it was his loss to Chiefs. If he did have two fights, he's 1-1 in the last year. Overall, Ryu Senin, though, did hold his belt up till he lost it to Chiefs, which is why I feel he has to be in our top 19 fighters. Beach. Let's talk about Beach real quick. Somebody said he doesn't have any MMA wins, though. We do kickboxing and MMA together. They're both considered for these rankings. We consider them both. We don't have enough kickboxers to do just a kickboxing ranking. FYI. Beach. A lot of people lost their mind when they seen that Beach was ranked so low on this list. I want to tell y'all, first of all, I love me some Beach. Beach helped take Street Beefs to the next level, okay? He helped take Street Beefs to the next level. Hold on. My bad. I had Corey beeping in. Anyways, my bad. Beach, at one point, was our golden boy. Everybody had to see that young man fight. He was literally must-see TV. And I credit Beach with helping. He was one of this generation of fighters that shot Street Beefs to the next level. Okay? But Beach has had a couple high-profile losses as of late. Beach has kind of been win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. So it's hard for me if you're not putting together a consistent winning streak to put you in our top 10. That's tough. Winning streaks are going to be valued in Street Beefs. So if you string together 3-4 wins in a row, it's going to bump you up the list. And Beach, I think he had a 2-fight winning streak, then he took a loss. But he's still in our top 18, and he'll move up. Beach is a beast. He's just in a tough division. His weight class is full of killers. So you can't really fault him. Okay? Now, Bro Demon said, oh, I rewatched some beach fights, even his boxing matches. No doubt. I had to click off my list. My bad, guys. Okay, Quack Attack. Quack Attack asked, somebody told me he had asked somewhere, how was Ryu Senin above him, or how was somebody above him when they lost? I can't remember what his wording was, but I think he was asking about Ryu Senin. And my answer would be Ryu Senin only has one loss on his record. And again, I'm going to go back to what I just said about Beach. Win streaks. Quack Attack has some wins in the yard, no doubt. But as of late, he's kind of had a win, then a loss. A win, then a loss. Or at most, 2 wins, then a loss. So there hasn't been that streak of 3-4 wins strung together. And consistency has to be considered when we do these lists. Alright? Quack Attack's an OG. Fuck that. He's an OG. Quack Attack was here when we didn't have fucking boundaries. He was here when we were using pool noodles. So I fuck with him. He's one of my guys. And he deserves to be on the list. And I'm sure he'll move up the list. But right now, I feel comfortable with his spot. Okay. Maluka is our final entry. Maluka, I was actually shocked that he only had a 4-2 MMA record. Then I realized it's because he does fucking everything. This dude fights kickboxing, he fights boxing, MMA. So I knew I had seen him in the yard a lot. But as far as MMA, he's only 4-2. If he had more than a 4-2 record, it would have been much higher. Even still, he's in our top 19, deservedly so, and has the potential to go even higher. I think his strength of opponent bumped him down a little bit, but Maluko's a warrior, a dog, and to say you're one of the top 19 current best fighters in Streetbeefs is a compliment, okay? I'm going to get to some of these comments here in just a second. But first, let me finish what I want to say here. If you're on either one of these lists, be grateful. Do you guys realize we get an average of 20 new fighters a month? Think about that. 20 new fighters a month. That's average. Some months we get 30. We had a month where we had 50 new fighters. So each year, we get a couple hundred new fighters that come through. We've had thousands of fighters come through the yard. So if your name is on a list of the top 19 Streetbeefs fighters, considering all the fighters that have came through here, be grateful. Be appreciative. You know? Because there's a lot of people that could have been chosen instead. If you want to squabble about your ranking, okay. Just don't get too pissy. Because after some of the shit I heard today, I'm this close to throwing these rankings in the toilet. This close. Okay? Saying Scalar, expand on your, he said lightweight, I believe. Okay. Is he light? Big K. Is Beach lightweight? So look, guys, I don't want to confuse y'all with the lightweight, the microweight. Just go by their weight. So now, like I said, it's every 10 pounds. 150, 160, 170, 180, etc., etc., etc. All right. In the end, guys, that is our ranking. Louis said, who is lightweight MMA champ? Again, I don't go by lightweight in them because that confuses me. But man who holds 2 belts, or maybe even 3, and it's all through that lightweight division. All right, Sensation holds 2 that are microweight and flyweight. Okay, so that whole very light MMA division is held by Sensation and Manu. When they fight, whoever wins is going to hold 5 belts. Okay? Bro Demon said, in my opinion, if you think you should be higher in the list, get in that gym. Yep. He said it. He said it, y'all. If you think you should be higher, get active. I'll tell you what pisses me off the most. A couple of the people we heard whining about their spot on the list don't even fight with us regularly. They may fight like once every 5 months. And you got guys that are coming every event and winning fights. But you think you should be higher. Okay? Then you got dudes who, it's weird. People want to complain about Fair Play's ranking. Oh, well, he hasn't fought much in the last year. Yet. Then you got another dude who has barely fought in the last year himself. Maybe has 2 fights. The logic. Look, I'm going to say this to y'all. And I talk about this often. They did a study. I can't remember which college it was. It was like Yale, Harvard, or one of those I'm much smarter than you universities. And Afro Samurai, hey Face, how you doing? What's the rankings looking like? Brother, we just finished them. I started an hour ago, but you can ask any question. Shout out to Afro Samurai. Afro Samurai actually is, once the list is updated this week, he is going to be on our rankings list. I'm not going to reveal yet, but Samurai, you're going on our list after this next event. Let me say this to y'all, okay? Ultimately, again, with Streetbeefs and this list, if you come to this yard and your first mindset isn't brotherhood, etc., you got the game fucked up. I want to get back to what I was saying. There was a college, can't remember which one, that did a study. And that study determined, they tested like 6,000 people. And they determined that 85% of men vastly overestimate their fighting ability. Vastly. Now, that goes for guys who can't fight at all. Then that goes for guys that can fight but think they're much better than they are. I can tell you it's true. Fun. What's up, brother? Good to have you. I can tell you it's true. Trust me. These fighters, and look, you got to have a bit of an ego to be a fighter. You got to have this belief that you're better than most. That's why they get in the ring. But damn, be realistic too. Whatever happened to the days of old school martial arts? You know, in old school martial arts dojos, they taught humility. Be humble. Respect your opponent. Humility in defeat. Humility in victory. Where's that at? It's like MMA came along and that shit disappeared. I've said this before. I feel like MMA has been taken over by jocks. I loved old martial arts because there was that Eastern mindset of humility, of Zen. You don't see it no more. You see a bunch of ego and jocks. I hate it. You can have faith in yourself while still being humble. People just don't know how to. Afro Samurai said, thanks, man, and most dudes do put themselves way higher than they are. It takes modesty to accept the rankings. And you know, Afro Samurai is one of the guys that's like what I just said. I love how he carries himself. His name says it all. He named himself after a Far Eastern warrior. Samurais were great warriors. They were humble. When they were defeated, listen, now this may seem egotistical, but it's actually not. When a samurai was defeated in battle, they would take their blade and kill themselves. Okay? You may say, damn, that's ego. You're going to kill yourself if you lose? But think about it. A lot of them could say, well, I didn't lose. Fuck that. I'm not killing myself. If it was some of these modern street beefs fighters as samurais, they'd have never killed themselves. They said, I didn't lose. Fuck that. Did you see? I stopped this sword attack. Samurais were the ultimate addition of humility. Okay? Shout out to Afro Samurai. Louis said, I love seeing dudes that look like trash, who are small and ugly, beat up killers. Same. Bro Demon said, in my dojo, we uphold respect for our classmates and other martial arts, as it should be. Big Cake said, I want also to say shout out to you and all the Street Beefs fighters for putting your lives on the line every time you take a fight, for not just yourself, but for the entertainment it provides for the fans. With this sad stuff going on with Damar Hamlin, it puts things into perspective quick. What matters most isn't rankings or wins, it's family and brotherhood. Look. Last night when that young boy got hurt, you notice how you didn't hear none of the fucking announcers? That was a big game. That game between the Bengals and the Bills was for playoff seeding. Let me tell y'all, I'm a Ravens fan. And I was on that game like this because if the Bengals had lost, we were still in the hunt for the division. But when that young guy got hurt, you think I said, man, get the game started again. What the fuck is going on? No. Fuck that game. It ain't about that. This is life. And that's what some of y'all don't get. When you leave that yard, it's brotherhood and sisterhood. A lot of the bullshit I see makes me sick. Because this ain't why I started Street Beefs. I started it to give all y'all something positive to be a part of. Manu the Great said, people who have been in the gym understand honor, humbleness, and respect. Anything else should just push you to be great. And you know, I feel Manu lives by that. Him and Sensation have some back and forth. But I'll say this. Both of those guys could have tried to come on and argue that they should have been number one or number two. Anybody in that top five could have made that argument. But they didn't. They said, shit, I'm top five, top four, top three. I'm good. It ain't that serious. And that's why they're a great part of Street Beefs and the poster childs for Street Beefs. They get it. Some of these other guys don't. Fun said, win or lose, I always give my opponents respect. I give them a hug and a lot of times get their contact info. As it should be. As it should be. Listen, y'all. I want to say this in closing. Street Beefs originally, when I started it, we had no ring. We had no ref, except me, and I didn't really even ref in the beginning. I just made sure they didn't kill each other. No ring, no ref, no fucking camera, none of that shit in the very beginning. Even in the first couple years, we didn't have a ring. We damn sure didn't have a ranking system. We fucking well didn't have belts. Everybody then knew what Street Beefs was about. They knew it was about brotherhood and sisterhood. Then as time wore on, we started to get more and more people that wanted to fight for sport. And I let them come. You know why? Because I feel if you're spending the month preparing for a Street Beefs fight, that means you're not spending the month getting high. You're not spending the month robbing people. You're not spending the month being depressed. You're not spending the month negatively. So it still gives a positive impact on people if I'm letting these guys fight for sport, right? Then when I added the belts, I said, I think this is going to cause trouble, but let's see. And I tried it, and it did cause some trouble. But it's simmered down a little bit, okay? Still, with the belts, I've had a couple guys, why haven't I got a title shot? I had one dude we gave a title shot to come to me, well, dude, I think it's fucked up how long it took you to give me a title shot. Again, losing sight of what we're about. So now here we are with the rankings. And I'm doing these rankings because I want to give y'all that are here just to compete something more. But understand something. I expect brotherhood and sisterhood above your competitive nature. If I see your competitive nature overtake brotherhood and sisterhood, it's going to be an issue, okay? You can be competitive without destroying the spirit of what this is. And I say, and maybe others see it differently, Manu and Sensation have kind of been at each other. I still feel they've been good additions to Street Beefs. And that's how it should be. There's some of y'all out there who are toxic. You're toxic. You got little man syndrome. You think everybody's doing you wrong. You complain about everything. And that is bad for Street Beefs. And I don't want you to be a part of Street Beefs if that's how you are. I mean that. Listen, y'all. I'm going to read these last two, then I'm out. Manu said, Street Beefs changed my life. I've been stabbed, jumped. My mother overdosed on fentanyl. Street Beefs gave me a goal, a family, and a passion that still burns in me today. And that passion Street Beefs gave me is going to push me to become a successful pro in combat sports. That right there, those type of comments is why I wanted to take this to the next level. That's what it's all about. Street Beefs making a positive impact. That's what it's all about. Afro Samurai said, everyone in y'all's org is family to me. I've trained with every single one of you, and it's nothing but love and hard work, but I do want that title, and is there one for 205? There is one for 205, and that division right now is very fluid. Come and take the shot, bro. You got the skill. Manu said, anytime, brother. Mike always replying to Louie. Guys and gals, I am out. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'm going to have Nate chop this stream up and put it on YouTube as well. We love y'all. We see you soon. I appreciate y'all. Oh, wait a minute. Shit. Face, I work 80 hours a week for financial reasons, so no boxing gym hours work for me. Besides sparring, when I can, what's the most essential boxing workouts y'all do at Neutral Corner that I can implement? Okay, Hitman. I've ran into many people like you. And I'm going to tell you two things. Hear me right now. Do you have access to a heavy bag? He said, no boxing gym hours work for me. All right. Shadow boxing is the number one tool in boxing for somebody that does not have a partner to train with. Number one. I'll put it above a heavy bag. Okay? Shadow boxing. And, okay, so check me out, Hitman. Hear me on this. What you need to do, shadow boxing and heavy bag, right? And you're going to approach them both the same way. When you shadow box or hit that heavy bag, the mistake people make when they hit the heavy bag is they just stand in front of it and punch. That's wrong. You're not getting nothing out of that. Shadow boxing, people just stand there and try to throw combos. That's wrong. When you shadow box and hit the heavy bag, before you start, visualize that there's an opponent in front of you. Visualize yourself walking out. Put a round timer on your phone. Visualize you're in a fight. On the heavy bag, move around the heavy bag like you're fighting somebody. Imagine it's throwing punches back. Hit 8-10 rounds, moving like somebody's throwing at you. Jabbing, working, throwing combos, visualizing that they're in front of you. Then with your shadow boxing, same exact shit. Mix between throwing full power punches and light punches for technique. But on the heavy bag and shadow boxing, always visualize that punches are being thrown back at you. And always, always use perfect technique. That's my advice. If you don't have a sparring partner, that's what you need to go with. If you can find a partner, sparring is king. If you can't find a sparring partner, focus mitts are king. Okay? That's my advice. I hope that helps. Guys and gals, I'm out. Hitman Hamilton, you're welcome. If you're working with Fair Play, you got you a good one there. You guys should start working mitts, and if you can spar, that would be amazing. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the stream. I love y'all. Look for this to be chopped up and put on the stream, YouTube. See y'all soon. Peace.